it's Alana. I'm here with June's Golden Vlog. I've got two little dogs behind me being little monsters. Um, this, I'm gonna read these off my phone because I can. Okay, so June's Golden Vlog, hometown questions. Where would you consider your hometown to be? I guess my hometown is Tucson, Arizona. I was born there. I lived there until I was 20 something. And it's my hometown. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up. That's where I spent my young troublemaking years. Reggie is being a handful today. He wants to cuddle. So, have I ever lived anywhere else? Yes, I've lived lots of other places. I lived in Tucson until I was 21 or 22, and then I moved with Paul to Chicopee, Massachusetts, and I lived there for about 3 years, a little less than 3 years. And from Chicopee, I moved to Okinawa, Japan, and I lived in Japan for 2.5, almost 3 years. We moved about 2 3/4 years. I lived in Japan from February 2007 to November 2010. There we moved to Helena, Montana, and I lived in Helena until 2013. And in 2013 we moved to Butte, Montana, and we lived in Butte until last year, until last April. And last April we moved here to North County, San Diego, Oceanside. And currently I live in Oceanside, California, and anxiously awaiting our next adventure. What is my favorite thing about my hometown? The thing about Tucson is hard. I love that it's a city in a valley, mostly surrounded by mountains. It's just beautiful. It's very, very close to the mountains. I love the views, but I also love the food. Like, that's the thing I miss the most when I'm gone. I go to Tucson and it's E.G.'s. E.G.'s is a restaurant with like sub sandwiches, but they also have this drink and they call it an E.G., and it's kind of like a Slurpee or a slushie, but it's better and it doesn't melt. Like, you know, when you buy a Slurpee, by the time you get out of the 7-Eleven into your car and you're driving down the road, like 30% of it's liquid. E.G.'s don't do that. It takes E.G.'s a good like 2 hours to start to melt. So that's like one of the E.G.'s is usually the first place I hit up in Tucson when I get back to town. I also love Hoagie House, which is another sandwich place. I love sandwiches. Actually, I could name a list of last time I went to town I had sandwiches. I think my favorite things about my hometown are the views and the food. Tucson is a great place with great food, lots of good places. And lots of pretty things to look at. It's a pretty, very beautiful area. I keep dropping my phone. How am I supposed to do this? Is there anything I don't like about it? When I lived there, I could think of a lot of things I didn't like about it. But right now I can't. I used to think that their traffic was really bad, but compared to San Diego, the traffic is nothing in Tucson. I used to think that there was nothing to do, but compared to Montana, there's plenty to do in Tucson. So no, I can't really think of anything that I don't like about it right now. I'm sure if I lived there again, I could, you know, let off this laundry list of, oh, there's this and that and this. It gets really hot. It does get very, very hot in Tucson, you know, like temperatures in the summer are 100 plus every day. But if you're used to it, it's not a big deal. And it's not humid, so it's not like this like unbearable heat. It's just hot. What foods are popular in your hometown, or what dish did you most love there? What foods are popular? Mexican food, it's like, I think the sandwich scene is really good in Tucson. I really like sandwiches, but I love a good sandwich on good, fresh made bread, and I haven't been able to find that here in Oceanside. I haven't really been down to San Diego to look, and I'm sure if I drove all the way down to San Diego, I could find a place that made sandwiches that I'm looking for with fresh, like crunchy bread or artisan bread or fancy bread with names I can't pronounce. But in Oceanside, in my immediate surrounding area, I have not found a sandwich place that makes sandwiches that are up to my standards. So when I go back to Tucson, I go to E.G.'s, I go to Hoagie House, I go to Beyond Bread and get a Betty's Brie, which is a brie and roast beef sandwich on a baguette, a very crusty, crunchy baguette, and it's just so crunchy, it'll tear your mouth up if you're not careful, but it is the best sandwich. Oh, I want a Betty's Brie. Okay, so what is the weather like in your hometown? Well, I already said that it's fucking hot. In Tucson, summers are above 100 from the end of May to the end of August. It's like 100 like almost every day. But it's not that bad because it's not humid, so it's just hot. It's not that bad. I get used to it, I guess. I miss the heat sometimes. No, I don't. Maybe I do. I don't know. The winters it gets cold in the winter, like 30s, which was just freezing to me when I lived there, but then I lived in Montana where cold is like -30, and now I'm like, I have a whole different understanding of cold. I don't think Tucson is cold at all. I think people who think 30 degrees is cold are ridiculous. In Montana, if it was 30 degrees in December, you were wearing shorts, because that was beautiful weather. Do you have any celebrities originally from your area? Linda Ronstadt was from Tucson, or she had a house in Tucson. I think she was from Tucson. That's really the only celebrity I know of that was from Tucson. What are some of the favorite activities or things to do in your town? Last time I was in my town long enough to do activities besides eat was when I was like in high school and just after, and we did a lot of like, I would ditch school to go hike Sabino Canyon. We did a lot of outdoorsy stuff. We spent a lot of time in the canyon, swimming, going up Mount Lemmon, which is I said that it's surrounded by mountains, and Mount Lemmon was the big mountain just immediately north of town. And we'd go up there and we'd go four-wheeling, or we'd go camping, or we'd just be screwing around on the mountain when we were supposed to be at school or whatever. Hunting, there's a lot of like javelina hunting, deer hunting. There's lots of other like mountain ranges very close to Tucson, and you can go elk hunting, and lots of fishing around Tucson. Oh, there's more. Okay. Have you ever had a major event, good or bad, happen in your hometown? No. There are no major, like, we don't really have earthquakes. It's not tornado country. It doesn't flood. It's a pretty safe place for natural disasters. As far as other events, there's never been any scary attack. There's never... No. No. Are there any misconceptions about your area? What do most people want to know about it? I don't know about any misconceptions. I think a misconception would be how uncomfortable 100 degrees really is when you don't have humidity. It's really not that bad. It's uncomfortable, but it's not like 100 degrees with humidity like in Texas or Arkansas or you know, there's no humidity, so it's not that, it's uncomfortable, but it's not like, oh my god, my skin's peeling off. And if there is anything that you want to know about Tucson, Arizona, leave me a comment or send me an email. Find me on Facebook. Let me know and I'll answer your questions, because I lived there for 20 something years and I still return frequently, especially now that I'm only about 7 hours away. I've been there numerous times in the last year. So if there's anything you want to know, anything you want me to check out, anything you want me to research, you let me know and I will find out for you. So I'm Alana, and my dogs are going nuts. Aiko! Aiko! Give me a thumbs up, comment, let me know if you have any questions, hit that subscribe button if you like what's going on here, and I need to go deal with that dog.